Let's get started. Today will be the fifth and the last session of the Flutter Festival, and here, I will guide you to how to do networking in the Flutter. So essentially, we will we will Weather API as essentially make this final app where if I search Mumbai, so I will get weather of Mumbai, and if I search New Delhi, I will get weather of New Delhi. So I will in the previous app we just made a template where if button a sample UI comes up, but now we will add the connection networking facility to the app also. So let's get started. So let me just do some orient. Before I start, is the font visible? Am I audible? Uh, I think I am audible, so let me just continue. Uh, yeah, so give me a second. Let me do it. Okay, so let's get started. So first, let me introduce to you to the weather API I will use. So this is the weather API which I will use. So let me also give you all the links. So copy, paste. Uh, is the screen visible? So yeah, I just gave this right now, so you can follow along if you want to. That link just links you to this page where uh, you can sign up or log in. Like I have already signed up, so I'm logging in. Yeah, so when you log in, you can see there is an API key which will be important for us. So let me just copy it for now. So apart after that, you can go to the API Explorer to see how this API works. So this API is very simple. You just paste your key, and in the query, you just return the place where you want the your weather to be. So let me just say Mumbai. So you can say that there is an HTTP call, and there is a response. There are multiple data where you current time, latitude, longitude, temperature, the icon. So let me also tell you what happens. Like if I just copy this and paste it in the browser, you can see that entire is in text form. So the general idea of our uh, the program will be to use use a HTTP get call, get virtual data, and convert it into our app. So so these two are done. So let me just refresh you what we did last time. So there's a home page which is essentially the part where I everything, and in the last clicking here and to the search, you can see that that text went into the app bar heading, and we are just seeing a static weather, like the way we want it. So we in the last session, uh, with we build the we made the build method. Now we are getting the state from the internet. So for that we need a class to define what the state should be. So for now, like I have mentioned it at weather info. So we have, let's make, so weather info class. So essentially the weather info class will be a class which has the date, the weather, the icon URL, the place, and the region. So let me just make a new file. Let's info.doc, and here let me just define weather info, which has the following property as I mentioned. So is the slide on this right side visible? Okay. Yeah, so we continue. So yes. So let me define string local time. So it will be final because like once object of weather info gets initialized, the local time to change, like the initial local time string to change, and similarly local int uh, temp c final string con URL, final string name, and final string region. And there you can see that there are multiple errors. So let's also make a constructor. Const weather info required this dot local time, required this dot temp c, required this dot icon URL, required this dot name, and required this dot region. So just a weather class which like build this state class. So the the state class into the weather page, and weather page will act like the function which like the build method, and weather info will be a state. So is everything cool till now? All right, let me manage this thing. Okay, so uh, but calling this we need to like integrate it to the weather page. So let's make a dummy using a factory method. So let me just write it first, then I will explain what is happening. Weather info dot get dummy y return const weather info. So essentially, I have not added the actual data yet, but what a factory function is that this function return type will be weather info. So like you can say that this is a factory, like returns a weather info. And let me just add the base. So my plan will be to just uh, like copy the parts the text I have added here into for the local time as the one I found. So let's take whether like local time as this string is the input API. Let's take temp as 30. So like from because of here, and icon URL will be this part. Name will be Mumbai and region will be Maharashtra. So So essentially, what this function will return is a dummy weather info just for testing like if we add this weather info to a weather page, everything is working or not. So let's also add that. So in the like last few shares, just directly added the text, but like we will now follow the format of pragmatic statement pass. So here rather than type final weather info, and rather than requiring the title, add this dot weather info. So now we will have weather info and we will only in the weather page. So rather than 30, it uh, will be uh, weather info dot uh, BC will be rather than wave info dot for now let's just remove this. Like we can add uh, the Mumbai also, but for now let's just remove it for simplicity. So and apart from Mumbai, it will be dollar icon weather info dot name dollar weather info dot I will get into the time widget soon, but let's just test if everything is working or not. So if I type anything, it doesn't matter. You can see that the same thing is happening. So we have abstracted like drawing part. So is everything clear till now? Yeah, I will go into the date time. Just like my go into this date time. So till now, is there any doubt? Right, so let's continue. Now the thing is why I didn't use date time is because the API is giving me a certain. So now I have to adapt. So you can see the time widget I was currently using just date time. Rather than that, what I can do is that I have the time string, the initial time string during the API call. I will make a date time inside the time widget and like increment it periodically by 1 second to display the actual time. So let's get it like rather like my plan is to in the time widget I will just do like let me define local time and it will be something like weather info dot local time. So for that I have to add a string here. So final string initial local time, and in the constructor it will be required this dot initial local time, initial and local. Oops, local. Okay. And also because like I am passing a parameter, I cannot use const. So let's just remove that. So now what is happening is that the string we got from the API is directly fed into the time widget, and now we have to like we have to make our own date time inside and like update it respectively. So let me define a date time. So it will not be final. So it will be date time, date time. And also because I'm not initializing it now, rather than I will initialize it in its state, I am defining it late. And even I don't need the current time, so let's remove it. I do need the time string, so let me just define getter for time string. So get will be string get time string, which will be uh, date time date format uh, date format dot what minute seconds, not it will be hour minute, hour minute dot format, and it will be, and now we don't need this time string, so we can delete it. So essentially what I have done is that there will be a date time, and using that date time I am giving us time string. So let's now define the date time. So in the init state, rather than defining time string, it will be date time is equal to date, date time dot parse, date time dot parse dot dot parse, and it will be the formatted string, which is this initial local time. So for that I will do widget dot initial local time, and like I have also defined in the previous section that there is something like I am using, I'm calling this function periodic every second. So rather than updating the time string, I'm incrementing date time itself by one. So date time dot add will be const duration. It will be seconds one. So let me like tell in the big picture what is happening. I got the weather info from internet. I will add that functionality. After getting that weather info, I'm like writing everything, and even I am sending the initial local time in the time widget from here. And during the build part, I am defining like I am initializing a date time, which is like found by the initial local time, and periodically I am adding 1 second to the duration. Also, one thing I also wanted to add is that this timer has to be stopped after this state has been destroyed. So for that I'm also adding a date uh, timer, and this timer will be equal to the timer dot periodic, and while we dispose the function, I want timer to stop. So cancel. So uh, so let's test it. So yeah, so just make note of the time. It was 1907. So let me just define a function. Yeah, so okay, happening. Okay, okay, it was not compiling because there is an error. So in the weather page I have to add a weather info, right? So I didn't do that. That's why it was getting problem. So let's do that. Weather info is equal to weather info dot random. So let's try it now. Yeah, hot sheets are complete, and you can see that the dummy time is now successfully here, and it will like update it every second. And like I did every second because I want this minute update to be as precise as possible. If you were adding seconds also, I would suggest like updating it microsecond base, but sorry, millisecond base, but I'm doing second minutes, so seconds is okay. So is everything clear till now? uh okay, uh I will answer this in the last, like this part, because like it is not related to the session. Also the timer. So I'm using the Windows part. So like here it does not throw error, but I have seen that if I do the same thing in web, I get an error. Is that some parts which were initialized has not been disposed. So like your app can crash. That's why. So another way I can explain is that this timer is itself is taking some memory in the in the RAM. If we don't stop it, it will keep taking the memory, and like you can think of it as a memory leak also. Small amount, but it will add up. Like if you do it many times. So cool. Yeah, I will answer this part afterwards. So don't worry about that. Uh, So, uh, okay, so when we call this part, you can imagine that in RAM allocated for this for executing this part of code every like second. So, so the thing is when this time widget get disposed. So, for example, now it is being displayed. If we like dispose it by like getting it out of the stack, so after that if we don't cancel that part, that periodic part will continue in the background, and that will like take up system resources. And to avoid that like unnecessary uses of these resources, I'm doing timer cancel. So does that explain? Yeah, the no the thing is, if we don't deallocate it with time, thing will stack upon each other and it will consume too much memory. Cool. So let me just see if I'm following my own not. Yeah, make time widget date on the networking part. So before that, I'm directly going to this part because it is related to the time part. So you can see here that the time here is like of a definite format. It's like it is year dash month dash date space colon minute. So but some problem. So if I add New York for example, NPW, okay. So you can see that there are like the string format has been changed. There are no two digits here, and and this will cause error in that this exact part. So uh, this parse will throw an error because it is not a given format. So like example I can show you is that this was the app I was showing for demo. So I didn't anticipate it that time. So if I do New York here, you can see that we are giving an invalid date format. Like so, because of that, if there is no zero, like we have to add a zero here just for the app to work. So, so where was it? So this part I will explain. Let me just copy it because like it is really precise. So this was the actual app, right? Yeah. So the thing is when the like the erroneous date time length is like 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 14 15 16. It should be 16, but in some cases it is 15. So let me just add it to whether uh, here. So I'm doing it as local time, and local time is equal to let dot local time. I'm just doing if local time dot length is equal to 15. Uh, Windows 3. I'm just at like I'm assigning local time, and it will also be local. And Yeah, so let me just explain this line. So in a string, there is a substring function. Let me also give you an so dot string substring. Yeah. So like it is like the substring just return a part of a string. So here we needed that where is the function? We needed this part intact, then add a zero, then continue. So you can see, you can like if you count, you can see that this is like 11 characters. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from 0, I'm taking 11 characters, then I'm adding a 0, then I am continuing from 11th character. So so that's just a normal fix I found. So just wanted to convey it here, and here it will be local. Just a normal check. So after that, that's I think we should move forward to networking. Right. So yeah. So working we will use a package called HTTP. I'll share it with you all. Like give all the documentation about HTTP. Like for installing, you can do Flutter pub add HTTP. I think it will give error on my side because I've already done it. So yeah, so like HTTP is already in dependency. So then, so if you do it on your side, the HTTP will get initialized. So it will add this following line into the pubsec.yml. So and also in this site, if you want to see, there's an example where like we use the HTTP GET request. So I'm also keeping it side just in case there's some confusion between what I am doing and what is inside here. So let me just make a new file. Let's define it uh, networking dot. Here, let me just tell you straight from the start that the return type will be a future of weather info. I will tell you why this is, but just bear with me. And let the function name be get weather weather info, and because yeah, so because oops, sorry for the echo. Right now. uh, while Flutter is building the application. How has your day been? Like, how was your day? Am I audible? Uh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was waiting for the app to build. Accidentally closed it. So yeah, just let's just continue. So essentially, what I was telling is that our objective is to take the string inside this part and make an API call. So essentially, we just need to, like, you can see in the website that there's a link, like this is a link, then I am adding my API key, then there is a query which is New York because I searched New York, and there is another query like AQI. No, that is like there's, let's not get into that. And you can see here that if I do anything, you can see that only the queue part is changing. So you can, so the objective will be is to uh, take whatever is written here and like replace it with this part. So for that, let's just define required string location. So and right. So before, so let's define a URL. So I'm just copying this import from here. Yes. So where URL is equal to URI dot HTTP. By the way, am I audible? Like there was an just confirming because yeah. So let me just continue. So like this functions create this exact link. So this exact link in a programmer friendly way. So you, it creates a new URI from authority path and query. For like here you can see that if we do example.org, then path, then a dictionary where I'm adding queries, you can see that this will get translated to this side. So HTTP colon slash slash, then authority, then encoded path, then all the parameters we added just in the format, like in the format of internet. So here the authority will be the api.weatherapi.com. So and encoded path will be from here to here. And on the options part, you can see that there are three options. One is the key, one is the queue, which is like the query, and one is AQI. So it will be just like we are just making a dictionary. So it will be key, then my key. By the way, this suggested that you all generate your own key, like so, and then it will be Q. Then it rather than it Mumbai, because we are taking the location, it will be location. So location, then it will be AQI. No, you can experiment with this app however you want. Like if you want the AQI information, you can tell AQI is equal to yes and move forward accordingly. So up to you. So okay, I added a comma here. So now we have the URL. So like now this URI will be expanded to this entire path. Now we need to call it. So essentially, as like I did in the weather in the browser. So if I copy this part and paste it in the browser, you can see that browser is doing this part for us. But we need to make the dart dart or flutter, whatever you want to call. Inside it is dart, so we want dart to call it. So for that we use uh, http.get. This is a get request because we are asking from a server. There are multiple type of http requests. So for now we are just going into get. So let's just define var response. My var response is equal to await http.get. So because I'm using await, let's just add a sync here, just to tell that this function will wait, and hence it will, and because of it, it will give a future of the weather info. And now I'm just, let me define some things. So response code is 200, which is okay, which is like there are three parts which can be happen. I have like tested. One is 200 okay, one is 400 bad request, and else there is no network connection. So in case in the parameter you just send anything, you will code 400, which is essentially like bad request. You will get like non-matching location found. So let me just tell it to Mumbai. Show response. So this response will be like the entire HTTP part you found. Like it will be this string with multiple headers. So like we have to do if else for the response code. So if response dot status code is equal to 200. Let me just comment this part. We need to uh, process and send it to weather page. And if res- response dot status code is 400, we know that we need to send the error to the app. Wait, it will be else if, just for else, like there will be an internet problem or some other problem. So just for simplicity, let's just do throw exception and unknown error found. So for now, like the path till here, is it like somewhat like, clear? Because I will build onto it. Yeah, okay. I will build onto it. So don't worry about that. So just for giving you a trailer, here we will do something called JSON decode, which will essentially make this like this special type of JavaScript object notation into a uh, map of like Dart, and then we will like use that map to get info from, like get info and send it to the weather page. So for simplicity, let me just make another factory method. Factory factory. It will be weather info dot from JSON, which will require, like, I'm doing required. So you can see here is that all the keys are string, and the output can be string, can be double, can even itself be an JSON object. So for that, I am defining the type as map from string to dynamic. So what dynamic means that the type is not fixed yet and it will be fixed. So JSON. So we have this JSON, which is essentially this entire part, and we need to now extract local time temp icon URL name and region. So we will return weather info. Just make it clear. So local time. You can see that in this map, like I'm telling it in map because like it this JS1 is a map. So you can see there are three keys. No, yeah, there are two keys: location and current. And for each key there is an itself a map. So local time is inside location, then local time. So it will be JS1 location, then local time. So why I did this part, is it clear? Because I will like just say, do the same thing for all the parts. So let me just continue for now. I will do the same thing here, and I will just do temp C as it is in the current, then temp C. So JSON, it will be current, then it will be temp C. But you can see that it is float here, and we want int because temp C is an int. So let's just round it. So as double, and then we are rounding it to make it an int. And icon URL is inside current and condition, then icon. So it will be JSON current, then condition, condition, then it will be icon. But here's a catch. You can see here is that they are not adding like HTTP part yet. So it is because you can do HTTP as well as HTTPS. So if I do HTTP colon, you can see that you get an image. But the same thing can be done with HTTPS also. Control V, HTTPS. You can see you can take the same part by multiple means. So for now, I am going HTTP and I am just appending HTTP colon to this part. So it will HTTP plus. So essentially, I am like adding HTTP then this link. Uh, Now name is inside location then name. So I'm just copying this part. It will be name, and the region will be location then region. Region. So is this part somewhat clear? Cool. So essentially, if we have the JSON, JSON, which we will get from the like if the response or status code is 200, we will just pass it to the like weather info from .cn, and we can uh, we can have an assurance that it will get a weather info if every change here is correct. Otherwise, we will see that. Okay, so now we have this textual, we have everything in textual format, and we need to convert it into the map. So for that, there is a function like here also, it is called JSON decode. So so we can do var JSON response is equal to uh, JSON decode, and it will be response dot body. And right now we now the JSON response is a map, like map string. JSON is it is dynamic, but it is a map of string. So map string and dynamic. Now because we are returning weather info only, we can just do return weather info dot from JSON. It will be JSON response. So this was the part. If the status code like is 200, like which means that what we have sent in like in the queue parameter is correct. If it is not correct, so let me again show you. If I do add anything, you can see that the response code is 400. So for now, I my plan is to just throw an exception with this part, just to like show whatever the API is telling. So because we got a response, I can like use the same code like JS1 response. Then that like I will throw exception where the message will be uh, JSON error then message. So okay, it will be JS1 response. So is the networking part clear? Why I am doing whatever I did? Uh, it's clear. So now for like for integrating it all together. So you know that this is a future, so it will come after some time, and we want like while it is coming, like while it is loading, particular indicator to show that it is loading. So for that we will like I've also written it here. So we will use something called a future builder. So what a future builder object is that it will wait for it will show something while it is waiting for a future object. So let me code it so that it is better. So again, so my plan is to whenever I write this part gets taken and the navigator push happened, and after that this the part will be displayed. So like this the so I will add all the future builder part in this navigator.push. So in the material build context, rather than weather page, will be a future builder. Future builder. Its type will be weather info because like I'm, I will add the future in the meantime, and its future will be at weather info, and its location will be the text we got from the controller. So just for clarification, this controller is the text editing controller, uh, which is used in the, the text field in the main. So so will be text, and in the builder it is you can see that builder has two parameters, one is context and one is snapshot. So context and snapshot. So just to fill in, context is the context we have been using so far. It is the same build context object. You can see the snapshot is an asynchronous snapshot of type weather info. So the thing is, while this future is while okay, while this future we are waiting for this future, we can like take a look that this snapshot has data or has some error, or like we need to wait. So So if snapshot has, oh wait, I forgot the if. So if snapshot has data, essentially this means that the future we were waiting for has received the data. So then this snapshot will be of the type weather info. So so we will just push it to the weather page. So we will return weather page, which has weather info, that will be snapshot dot data. And you can see that snapshot is like a nullable field, so we have to add this part, like, and so this will not throw error because we are prior checking that snapshot has data. If snapshot has error, if snapshot dot has error, which can come like when in the get weather info, you can see that I'm throwing exception. So when like this exception will be translated to snapshot dot has error. So so here the plan is to show that the location is not found. So for now, let's just return a simple scaffold which has an app bar just for the navigator pop app bar, and in the body, like let's define center, then text, sorry, I forgot child, then text which has snapshot dot error, uh, dot to string. So essentially means if that by any reason this get weather info throws an exception, it will proc snapshot dot has error, and we will just print the error. Apart from that, we there is another state which is called waiting state. So essentially, we are waiting for the future to get data. So here I will return scaffold CAFFURN, which will be scaffold with app. I don't think app bar will be needed here because this loading indicator will go either to has data which has the app bar, and or it will go to the error which I have added the app bar. So in the body, we'll do center, and its child will be circular progress indicator, constant here, 0 MST. So let's test everything. I think everything should work now. So I am adding Mumbai. You can see that it was loading. Hello, am I audible? Yeah. So let me just repeat what I did. So essentially, I did something called future builder, which essentially waits waits for a future, which is in this case this get weather info, which is the future of weather info. Then while it is waiting, we are showing a circular progress indicator, and if the future part has data, we are returning the data into weather page. Else, like by any misfortune, we get an error. Like in the networking, like if the response code is 400, like we added a bad output, or there is an unknown exception like loss of internet, then we are just showing the by the networking, like this exception, just for simplicity. You can add a custom screen and everything, but yeah. So let's just show you an example. So let's do New Delhi. So you can see it was loading, then it shows New Delhi. So time there is still same, like the weather is 32 here there, and it is New Delhi. Let's try London and see there it is 328, it is 16 degree and everything. Let's try another. The New York, where we I was getting an error before. So yeah, there is minus 3 degree chilly, and yeah, it is 10:28 a.m. So is everything clear till now? So let me just do a sanity check if I did anything or not. Add a future in builder snapshot can have following state, and okay, so I forgot to add another thing. So you can see if I do not type anything and just type search, you will see that there's an unnecessary loading, and it will say that parameter q is missing, and like it will show this exception which is not like intuitive. So what we can do is that we can first check if this text is empty or not. If it is not empty, only then we are returning. So it will be a simple fix. So like here I'm taking the text and I'm clearing the controller. So essentially this whatever I wrote here is cleared. Now I will just tell if text dot is not empty. uh, I will do this, else we will not do this. So you can see if I search it, nothing is happening. But if I add Mumbai, you can see that is loading and then the weather key. And just for another check, if we add a garbage value, you can see here that the API gave us exception no matching location found, and the program stopped because it caught an exception. And then if we continue it, you can see that that exact thing is being displayed. So yeah, I think this marks the end of session. Uh, really fun this entire 5 sessions, and yeah, thank you. Also, yeah, for this question, it is not required that you have to make a weather app only. So I will send all the submission guidelines in the chat. But the thing is, you can submit whatever you like. So whatever you want to share. So yeah, I will share all the internet. Yeah, so we have till 30th, and after that the duration will be over. So yeah, thank you for attending these sessions. It was a wild ride. Yeah, it's 2 days, but you can see that Flutter is not that hard. Like like it took me with explanation an hour to just add an internet call. So it's not that hard. I have belief in all you all. So yeah, with this positive note, let's end this session, and